Anglerfish inspired is guaranteed to make for a fun looking character. Now there were some unfortunate issues that did happen with this look, and you'll see soon enough. I've incorporated LEDs in looks before and thought it might be fun to try my hand at fiber optics this time. I wanted to make this for the fins, so I had clustered a bunch of the fibers together. Using tape sticky side up really helped to get these bundles together. Used some shrink plastic to keep them together and was able to actually split these bundles. Basically, fiber optics are pretty simple. You take one end of the fiber and put it up against a light source, and that light's gonna travel through. But we want more glow, so I'm gonna slightly sand the sides, bring some of that light through. Did end up getting some new LEDs because I figured the flat-topped LED was going to have contact with all of those fiber optics and hope that it would be a little brighter than this rounded one. Use more of the shrink tubes to keep the LED in place. To make them more fin shape, I fanned them out and used some hot glue to keep it in place. Now these are going on the head. Piece of heat plastic, shaping it to the curve of the head, and I did put a split down the center, added a second piece behind it just to make it longer. Wanted to also do some fins on the side. I did throw on the prosthetic ears I planned on wearing with this look, just to kind of figure out the placement. These are cold foam pieces that were gifted to me. The brand is Titans FX. Applied a layer of latex to seal the foam up, added more pieces of plastic for stability, wired the center mohawk fin to a power source. I used these solderless connectors from Amazon. Honestly, I don't know why. I had a feeling it wasn't going to be a great idea. Since once the headpiece is applied, I'm not gonna have any access to this wiring to fix something if it becomes disconnected. Should have trusted my gut. Now it's not an anglerfish without the headlight. I had a bunch of these plastic sphere ornaments lying around, crunched up some iridescent film, and just stuff it in there. Cut out a piece of plastic to seal the dome. That's also gonna hold the LED in the center. And now I'm just gonna build up the shape using foam clay. Used an armature wire to attach the head, and just some hot glue and some tape just to keep it in place for now. Now, lucky for this light, I was thinking and just ended up twisting the wires for a connection, which is what I should have done for all the lights. Now, I got all of this on 3 separate power packs, which is probably overkill. Foam clay to cover the wire and to build up that lamp piece, or whatever you want to call it. Now for the latex over the head, use some cotton to build up the shape, trying not to over soak the cotton so it won't just end up too flat. Paper towel layer, then the tissue paper layer to really start smoothing stuff out. And that's gonna need some time to dry, so let's jump onto the gloves. Building them on cotton gloves, like usual. Wanted creepy long fingers. If you wanted a more detailed step-by-step on how to make gloves like these, I do have an entire video, link will be in the description. Wanted to do orange and browns as a base color. Used alcohol activated skin Illustrator for this. Figured it would be a nice complement to the blue lights. Just layering and creating a bunch of texture. Some spatter for a little extra detail. Now it looks cool, but it could look even cooler. Use textile medium and some Shimmer Dust. Now I got this stuff like 7 years ago. From what I can see on the site, I believe they call it Moonstone Dust and Flash White now. Once dry, now it looks wet and shimmery. Make it more aquatic, gotta give it some webbed fingers. Use some iridescent fabric, cut out the shape, sealed the edges to keep it from fraying, and just glue it into place. The headlight is not the only thing that makes an anglerfish iconic, and since I wanted this to look more like a siren look and less of just a monster, I decided that the jaw should be almost like a jewelry piece. Made it out of foam clay, pre-rolled out some teeth to dry. Made them longer than I needed, so that way I could just trim it and have multiple sizes. For the bodysuit, didn't want a completely flat surface, so made these spiny pieces for the front, built it up on a silicone mat so that the latex would just peel right up. Added some clay to the headpiece just to help refine the fins where they meet the head. Did some layers of thickened Beta Bond to finish smoothing. A mix of acrylic paints and Beta Bond for the base color. Now all the same skin Illustrator colors that I used on the gloves. Spattered a lighter color up the sides of the head since I was planning on keeping the face lighter. Airbrushing more texture and dark stripes. Decided some spines would be kind of fun on the head. I have these foam clay spikes from an old makeup, so we're just gonna reuse these. All spiked up and painted those a dark brown. Added the shimmer, though this time I used Beta Bond with the shimmer because I wasn't sure how well the fabric medium was gonna work on the latex. And you're probably thinking, if you're mixing this with glue, isn't it gonna be sticky? Yes. Yes, it is. So we're gonna need to powder the crap out of it, and now it looks sad and dusty. Gonna use some green marble sealer to spray over everything, and that's gonna bring it back to life. Now it's shimmery and not sticky. Wanted a UV effect to go with the blue LEDs, along with spiny pieces on the suit. Also made some shoulder pieces. Gluing it all down and using latex to blend the edges. Also made some wrist pieces out of EVA foam because I just wanted some kind of transition between the suit and the gloves. Went over with a thin layer of acrylic paint, lighter in the front, and a darker color on the tops of the arms and back. We just need to make it match the gloves and the head. There's some UV effect on the head, and I thought it might be cool to do something a little different for the suit. So airbrushed it first using a blacklight flashlight. I do recommend fully charged batteries for this. Yeah, that's much better. Since it's airbrushed, it looks super soft, so I did go in and hand painted more solid lines. Finally, time for makeup. Started with the headpiece and glued it down with Beta Bond. Realized I really should have brought the edges more forward, which kind of sucks because that means I am gluing directly on my hair. Pop on the ears and time to add the face. This again was another generous gift. Because I don't have a pronounced nose bridge, nose didn't fit very well, so I ended up cutting out that area. Now I have created these thick edges. So it took some time to just trim it up, just to make it so it will lay flatter on my skin. Did use some thickened Beta Bond to clean those edges, but now we're back in business. Do some layers of latex for final blending and mixed Mehron light brown and white for the base color. Then back to those same old Skin Illustrator colors we've been using this entire project, just to tie it all in. Lightly brush some highlights over the textures just to make it pop. Use purple on the tips of the ears and the very edge of the fins. While adding the shadows, I realized I never actually double checked the lights at this point. Now that it's completely glued to my head, what a perfect time, right? And that whole nagging feeling about the middle mohawk piece disconnecting from the power source proved right. At some point, it had become detached. Now it won't light and it's just too late to fix it. Well, that sucks, and we're just gonna have to go with it. Finished the eyes, added a black lip, wanted some metallics, so I grabbed my Skin Illustrator Nova palette. Now to give the same shimmery effect on the skin, sponged on some Skin Illustrator Love Shine, and I used a different shimmer for this since the one from Solar Color Dust is not cosmetic grade, and I don't want that stuff around my eyes. I used Titan's FX White Shimmer, applied some Glowworm, and of course, I realized I wasn't filming. Always a great feeling. I didn't know the black light wasn't catching the face at all. This look really wanted to fight me. And if you enjoy makeups with a UV effect, make sure to check out this other aquatic UV look.